Good morning, everyone. So today what we're going to try is we are going to try the itsy bitsy spider. So we're going to build a spider web. So the way you can do that is you can either use a regular piece of paper like a rectangle, or if you prefer to make it a square, you may need a grown-up's help with this. You just take your edge of your paper, you fold it over. It needs to line up here. This might be a little hard for you, so you might want to ask a grown-up if you want a square. And then you flatten it out, and then you cut this piece off. So I'm going to make mine a square, but you can leave yours a rectangle. It works both ways. I just want to show you how to make one. Here we go. So now I have my square. I'm going to open it up. And if you remember when we were doing our self-portrait, what I said was to put a dot in the center of the paper, like that, and then you go off to the edges. So I'm going to go to this corner, then this corner, all from that dot. This corner to this corner. And then what I'm going to do, that looks like the letter X, right? Now it's going to look like the letter T. So it's going to be, those are two diagonal lines. Now I'm going to do a vertical line from here till the center. Not perfect, that's okay. From the center to here. And then I'm going to go side to side like that horizon line like we used when we did our Peter Mac sunset. So that's similar to our self-portrait background, how we started with our colors. It's similar to the horizon line. And then we have diagonal, vertical, horizontal. That's the beginning of our spider web. So there's lots of different ways you can do a spider web. You could actually make sort of this spiral shape, like that on your web, or you could use this kind of line, or you could use this kind of line. I'm going to show you this kind of line. So the way you make that kind of line is you make a line that curves like this. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing in each section. Curves like that. Curves like that. Curves like that. Now when you're doing art, you can always turn your paper if it's not comfortable for your hand to do it that way. Like if I had to reach, I could always just turn my paper. So I'm going to go all the way around. Curvy line, curvy line, curvy line. That's the start of my spider web. Now some people like to go around and do it one at a time, and other people like to do it like this. They make that curvy line, and I'm going to stop there, and then they turn their paper and they connect it to that curvy line like that, and they keep going all the way around. And don't worry if you go in the wrong direction, it's going to look more like that, and that's going to be fine too. So right now, almost finished with my spider web. Now there's a lot of different ways we can color our spider web. You can use crayon, you could use colored pencil, you could use markers. There's going to be a little special technique I'm going to try with mine, and if you have a chance you can try it with yours. It will need tin foil, like you wrap your sandwiches in. So you can add more if you want, or less, whatever you like there. You know our old tried and trusty technique of using our marker, right? We said we could do that, where we outline it. Then we take our brush. Remember my brush I told you about? This brush, it's called an Aquaflow. It has the water in here. I just opened it up. I added some water to there, closed it up. Now it's blue because I used blue paint last time, but only water. If I take it and I rub it, I can turn my marker back into watercolor. And that's a nice way to be able to paint when people don't want too big a mess. So watercolor, crayon, whatever it is, I like to color every single section a different color. Maybe you prefer to color it with just one color. That's up to you. Or maybe you just want to use warm colors or cool colors. Or maybe you just want to do it in black. I'll show you what it looks like in black because it looks super creepy. Where I'm going to outline now in a not permanent marker because I drew my picture in permanent marker. And then when I use that brush on the water, look at it. It's so funny how a black marker always looks blue, but it gives you those creepy grays if you want to try that. So that's our spider web one way. I'm going to show you another way now, and you might like it better. I'm going to do this one on a rectangle this time. Did you see my spider I made out of tin foil? Do you like it? You can do those. They're pretty easy. Well, I won't say they're pretty easy. They are a challenge, but they actually look really cool. Do you see the shadow I created with mine? Look at how big he looks if I hold it up. I have a light shining from above. Pretty awesome. Okay, the other way of doing it is instead of doing the dot in the center, you can pretend that the dot is over here in the corner, that the spiders started spinning their web in the corner. And so instead of making my lines go from the center, maybe I'm only seeing this part of it, just down here. So I might take my lines and go diagonal. And now it looks like the spider web was started in the corner, spun in the corner. So the same idea, curvy line, curvy line, curvy line, and I kind of turn as I move around. You can either move your arm or you can move your paper, and you can make as many as you want because remember the spider is spinning this web, so you probably want to make it go a little bit, maybe all the way, maybe halfway, and the same idea about how you would like to color it. You see how my web is starting to build? I'll pretend my spider, ooh, look at that shadow, really big. Pretend my spider is still spinning it. Okay? All right, so that is how we can do our spider webs. I could show you this way. If I did it, I could go 1, 2, I'm taking some shortcuts here, aren't I? That's okay, because I just want to show you how you could do it. See how you can go to the edge? Kind of looks like the spider web's floating in outer space. You could just go like this if you prefer. And it'll depend which one you like better. Maybe you like this. Maybe you like this way. And the other way would be if I did my spider web and I wasn't sure about how to make them curve in the right direction, and maybe I ended up like this. It's still gonna look like a spider web. It's just gonna look like a spider that likes to do things differently, spun that web. Okay? So lots of different ways to get started on your web. Have fun creating it, and then we'll talk about how we can add color.